everybody, it's Michelle and I'm so excited today to be doing a collab with my friend HappyBird. We've each got a snowman ornament for you, and I'll put the link to hers in the description area below, so be sure that you go on over and check hers out. It is adorable. I was so excited when she asked me to do this collab. I love to do collabs with her, and I love snowmen. I thought this was a wonderful idea for a collab project. I had actually been in the store recently looking at some ornaments in the Christmas section, and I saw one that I almost bought, but I pulled back. Being a crafter, I decided that I would wait and do it myself so that I could personalize it and change up the colors, which is usually what I do anyway. And so I wanted to recreate what I saw in the store, and it was a snowman ornament that had a clear bottom filled with sparkly stuff down inside of there. It had a styrofoam head, and it had like a little snow cap on top, but I thought I would like to do the top hat. So I'll show you a little bit later what we're going to be putting in the bottom of there. And you can really put just about anything you want in there to make that sparkly bottom. And if you guys remember, earlier on, back when I did Christmas in July, I used an ornament topper. And I told you guys I had an idea for the bottom of that. I hadn't yet seen that ornament, and the idea that I had was similar to what I'm going to be doing today, so I've just kind of adapted it and turned it into what it's going to be today. So that's how you can use that ornament that you have with no topper if you use that in a project like I did on my wine glass dome in July. But we're going to set that aside for now. The first thing I'm going to do is decorate his hat. And this is just a little 3-inch felt top hat from Joann's. And I'm just going to decorate that up and turn it into a Christmassy snowman hat. The first thing I'm going to do is put my string in there that I'm going to hang that by. And I want to get that on there before I ever start putting the ornament together. That way I can get the knot on the inside of the hat. And I've just got a regular sewing needle here. And I'm making a hole there in the top. And I want to make that hole big enough that I can get my thread through there. And I'm going to go ahead and take my beading string, and I've just got about a 12-inch length of it here. You can just use whatever size you want, depending on the size that you want your ornament hanger to be. And I'm going to tie a double knot in that. And maybe another single knot right on top of that. And then I'm just going to pinch that folded end together and try to stick it up through the inside of my hat. And I couldn't really put my beading thread onto my needle then because my needle would be stuck on it. I wouldn't be able to get my needle off after I tied that knot. And I'd be pulling the needle through on the looped end anyway. Which you could do that and then work one end back through if you wanted to. I'm just kind of trying to open that up a little wider so I can feed it up through there, which would just be easier, I think. Okay, so I decided I'm going to have a needle threader. And I'm going to stick that through the top of the hat. And then, I don't know if you guys can see down in there. Probably not, but I'm going to put the folded end of my thread through there and then pull that through with my needle threader. And then there we've got our hanger. But the only thing about that is there's nothing keeping it from pulling back through and getting lost down inside that hat after we're done. So I'm going to add a little dot of hot glue down in there, and then pull my knot right into that hot glue and hold pressure against that until that sets a little bit in that hot glue. And if you want, you can come back in and put a little more on top of it and just completely lock that knot into a little dot of glue there, and then it can't go back down into the hat. And there you've got your hanger. So now we can start decorating his hat. I think I want this to be the front here. And I've got a little piece of ribbon that I'm going to put around his hat. And it's just a little green satin ribbon with a snowflake pattern on there. And this is actually a little scrap piece that I salvaged from a little gift bag, I think it was. Something I salvaged it from. And I'm going to hot glue that on too as the band around his hat. And so kind of off to the side of the front here, I'm going to put all of my decorations. So I want my seam to be there. That way it'll be completely covered up in the long run, and we won't have to see any seams. And then just pull that around. And just glue that right down. And I don't think I'm going to have to cut it off any at all. I didn't trim it up ahead of time. That's the size that it was when I salvaged it, so that was just about perfect for this project. And it's already looking like an adorable little snowman top hat. Okay, and then I'm going to put some holly leaves and berries on there. These are on stems, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut those off of the stem. I'm just going to glue them straight on anyway. Another little dot of hot glue. A little more generous this time because I want to embed those decorations into that. And this is just the fun part here, getting to decorate his hat. You can decorate it with anything that you want to. You can put a bow on there or some candy canes. You could put a little cardinal, a little red bird there sitting on top of his hat. Anything that you wanted to add to make it decorative. And then I'm going to stick my 3 berries into that little puddle there. And I've got some little stringies from the glue in there, but I'm going to wait until everything sets up completely and I know that that hot glue is completely solid, and I'll get those stringies off then so that I don't pull anything apart. But until then, that is our hat. I think that's all I'm going to put on there. So I'll let that be drying while we work on the rest of our ornament. And I think I'll go ahead and make the snowman's face, so I can get an idea kind of where to put that by temporarily placing that hat on there. And I think what I'll do is just go ahead and mark out where I want his facial features to be first, and then I'll know where to come back and glue those onto without having to hold this hat on the whole time. So let's see. I think that looks like good placement for his eyes. And his nose right here. And his his mouth right there. I think that's going to look good. So we can put our hat back over there and start putting on his facial features. And I'm using adhesive back, but that's not going to stick well enough to my styrofoam. And I just kept the styrofoam just as is, just like it came in the craft section at Walmart, because I think that already looks like sparkly snow. I thought it was just perfect for snow the way it already was. And I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue to reinforce that. And stick that right on where I've got my eye placement figured out. I don't want to go straight onto the styrofoam with the hot glue because I'm afraid it'll really just melt and make a sinkhole down in his face, and I don't want that. And I'm trying not to get my fingers in the hot glue. And I think those make adorable little coal eyes. You guys may have seen before on my lighted snowman project that I did. For the eyes, I used what really looked like coal. It was the black aquarium gravels for fish tanks. It was really cute. I still have some of those as well. So if you want to use something like that, that would be great. And I think I'm going to use my jewel picker to help me out on the ones for the mouth, because I'm going to use this next size down for smaller lumps of coal for his mouth. Maybe my quick stick tool. It's actually got some sticky putty on the end, so there we go. That's working better. And that'll help me hold it so I can get the tiniest little dot of hot glue on there with my glue gun. And this Sure Bonder mini glue gun is perfect for that. It makes tiny little dots. I'm going to have to pick them up first because that adhesive back is strong enough to keep it stuck to the little release paper there. And I'm not really having to even much squeeze the trigger on that glue gun for that tiny little dot. It's so small it almost oozes out enough of the melted glue. And you guys can give your snowman any kind of smile that you want. But I am really a traditionalist, and I like to stick to the coal for building a snowman like you would really do if you were outside in the snow building a snowman. I think that is so cute. Okay, so for his nose, I'm kind of going in between the traditional things you would use for a snowman's nose, either a carrot or a button nose, you think. So I'm just going to use a button, but I'm using an orange one to kind of give over to the carrot idea as well. And this is the kind of button that has the loop on the back rather than holes. So what I'm going to do is just first place that on there and just press that into the styrofoam and then pull it back out. And I've got that hole in there already. And I can put my hot glue on there inside that hole and over the loop. And then just stick that right back into the hole I already made, and that hot glue will hold it. And I think he is so cute. Okay, so now we are ready to fill his belly full of sparkly stuff. And you can use whatever you want in here, like I said before. I've got some tinsel garland here and it's sort of a clear and white. I don't know if you can see, but it's got little white specks. It looks like snowy specks. So I thought that would be really cute for my snowman's belly. And I'm just going to cut off a piece of this about maybe 6 inches long, which is right about here. And then we can just feed that down in there. And you can use the tinsel icicle strands and fill it with that. You could fill it with artificial snow. You could fill it with large flake glitter. And what I like about this is, if this isn't big enough, you can just add another piece in there. And I think I will add a little bit more so that he's nice and fluffy and snowy. I'm going to get another piece about 6 inches long. I think that should do it. And I'm just stuffing it down in there. You could use beads or anything that you wanted to use. Just get creative and fill it with whatever you want in your snowman. You could even fill it with some candy and make it into a treat. Okay, so now to get this attached to the head, again, just like I pressed into that with my button, I'm going to do the same thing with this ring on top of the ornament. I'm just going to press and kind of wiggle it around. Until it makes an indentation that I can just slide that right up into. And that fits perfectly. So now I can take that back out and get glue all on that edge. I'm also going to put it here. We're going to cover this with a scarf anyway. And I want to make sure that there's lots of glue and that it holds very strong. And you can see how that glue just puddles right up and makes a nice little ring that seals against that styrofoam ball there. And now we can put on his scarf. And I've just got a piece of fleece fabric. It was a red and green and white Christmas pattern, and I just took one of the stripes within that pattern with snowflakes on it and cut a strip. It's about 1.5 inches wide by about 1 foot long. So I'm going to just tie that slightly and just adjust it until you like the way it looks. And I'm going to slide it over so that it's kind of off to one side. And then once I'm happy with it, I'm going to come in with my hot glue gun and just put some little dots underneath here and there just to hold it in place. And some underneath here just to make sure that they stay kind of hanging down where I want them. And I'm going to fringe the ends of his scarf. So I'm using some rhinestones again. These are flat backed, but they're not adhesive this time. Again, you can use real buttons. You can use some of the aquarium gravel for cold pieces. You could use more of the black rhinestones for buttons if you wanted to. And be careful there. I let it cool just slightly before I put it on, and it's still kind of slightly sunk in and melted. If you have a low temp gun, you want to use that. Or you can do like I do and put a little power reducer on your outlet. And give it just a second. The plastic of these ornaments is very thin, so you have to be careful. Make sure that you don't melt that. You don't want it to go completely through. Okay. I think these are big enough I can handle those without my quick stick tool. And there are his sparkly buttons. I think that's so cute. And now to pick off those little stringies and get his hat attached. And I don't know if I mentioned the sizes in the beginning of the video. This is a 3-inch clear ornament and a 2.5-inch styrofoam ball. And a 3-inch felt top hat. And I'm going to come right on the rim here. Right on the edge. And just put that on. And just hold that for a few seconds until that glue sets. So that's all there is to it, and I think he turned out really cute. So you guys, be sure to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of my snowman ornament. I think he turned out really cute. Also, be sure to go over and check out HappyBird's snowman ornament. It is so cute. I just love it. I love all things snowman. I'll have her links in the description below also. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and be sure to subscribe to HappyBird as well if you haven't already. Give us a like over on our Facebook pages. Join our Facebook groups, and we would love to have you share your crafts with us. I'll have the links to my websites as well as hers all in the description below, so be sure and check those out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.